What did we miss while Chris was in his hammock? Not just a 3-day weekend, a 4-day weekend, although it wasn't a weekend yesterday. He earned his money by sweating his ass off in Cincinnati. What happened on Friday, and this was a weekend thing, Friday night, I still don't know why they dropped this podcast on a Friday. Podcast 101. Drop it on a day when people are actually going to listen to it and talk about it. It's going to reverberate more than it did. Tyreek Hill had some strong comments about why he left the Chiefs. Let's start there. There were two topics that really stood out. The Tyreek Hill debut episode of It Needed to Be Said. He had Drew Rosenhaus on as his guest. Julius Collins, his longtime lawyer, was his co-host. And Chris, it became clear. I don't know if you've listened to it. It became clear. It was more than just a cold business transaction. Tyreek Hill was upset with the extent to which he was getting the football last year. It started week 2 against the Ravens when he had 4 targets and 3 catches, complaining about it all year, never took it public, but privately he was wearing out the Chiefs, and that was the thing, and Hill said it. That was the thing that drove the wedge between him and the team.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I understand, with really great receivers, they want the football a lot, and I just think with Kansas City a little bit, they got a creative offense. They do a lot of different things, and they try to get Tyreek Hill the ball. But if it's like, okay, the defense is going to show favoritism to him and always play to him, they'll continue to use him, as a discount too. But, I mean, again, he's still, as we see there, one of the most targeted receivers in all of football. There's no doubt. So I don't think he has, I don't think he can be too angry. I don't. It's the style of play they played, and, of course, he's the number one weapon in the sport as far as, dangerous down-the-field wide receiver, and you've been tearing everybody up in football for the last 4 years with a quarterback that's one of the best down-the-field throwers in the sport, and people caught on to them a little bit, and I think that's more or less what happened last year. It's just all of that kind of came to a head and led to a few less catches and touches maybe than in years past.
Yeah, and look.
Still talking about, 111 receptions last year?
Right,
yeah.
Right. He had a huge year. I really think, I said this yesterday when Miles Simmons and I were talking about it, I think all year long he's seeing the numbers that Cooper Kupp's racking up, and he's chasing Calvin Johnson for all-time records, and Hill's thinking, that should be me. That should be me. Get the ball in my hands, and, it's very easy for a receiver to convince himself that the more I get the ball, the more likely we are to win. Odell Beckham Jr. kind of went through that in Cleveland. You get me the ball and we win. And you're not getting me the ball and we're not winning. So it's kind of proving the point backward. Get me the ball if we want to win. I'm convinced. I want to win.
Right.
I want the team to win. I can help us win.
Right.
Get me the ball. And the Chiefs still turned it around, and they got to the AFC Championship game, and they went to overtime. Yeah, they should have beaten the Bengals. They should have been back to the Super Bowl again. But what happened was the foundation for the dysfunction was laid during the season, 1 week at a time. And I really do think, to the extent that he was complaining all year long to the Chiefs, that made them more inclined to say, we save our money, we get 5 picks, and we don't have to deal with a guy who is crossing over into diva territory.
Yeah, sure.
So if we give him 25, 26, 27 million a year, and he's already being a pain in our ass about not getting the ball enough, is he going to get better or is he going to get worse?
Yeah.
And I know of teams that said, we're out, we're not interested, because they heard enough about what went on last year that they didn't want any part of Hill. Because I think when somebody is already showing those tendencies, if you pay them 27, 28, 30 million a year, whatever the real details are, and it's really not 30 million a year, they're not going to get better.
No.
It's only going to get, if you're already showing diva tendencies, you make that guy one of the highest paid players in the NFL at his position, it's only going to get worse, not better.
No doubt. And then on a year we're showing here on the bottom of the screen, it's career high in receptions, career high in targets. So that's a little hard to get behind that, let alone we're at a point in his career, too, where we see receivers like that, you lose a step. And do I think Tyreek Hill maybe, to a degree, lost a step? Is he as fast as he was 3 or 4 years ago? No. I think it was the first year in a while where we can go away from the season and go, wait, we know Tyreek Hill's the man. He's still maybe, he's in the conversation for one of the most dangerous weapons in the sport. But it is the first year we've had in a while here where we've gone, Well, I don't know. Is Jamar Chase more explosive than he is? Is Deebo Samuel more explosive? He's got some rivals or some competitors in that conversation now, as to the point you're making here, to where I can understand that. Let alone, let me throw this in too. He's not the most gifted route runner in the world. He's not known to be able to do some of the underneath stuff. And let me just remind everybody, too, while we're on this conversation, is when he does some of the underneath stuff, how many interceptions did he cause from Patrick Mahomes last year? I mean, how many times did he have a ball at 5 or 6 or 8 yards and the ball went off his hands and in the air and became an interception for Patrick Mahomes? So that's not going to lend itself to the offense going, let's keep doing that stuff with Tyreek. He's really good at it. No, that's not one of his strong points. He's better just go that way, go deep, go that way deep. That's what he does, and it's going to be hard to get 150 receptions when you're that type of receiver.
And that's the hallmark of good coaching, shying a guy away from the things he doesn't do well and accentuating the things he thrives at. They're helping him. They're making him look better that way by not having him continue to do things if he's having any issues. So it was more than just the reasons why Tyreek Hill and the Chiefs are no longer together. Tyreek Hill was asked to compare Patrick Mahomes and Tua Tagovailoa. And Miles and I talked about this yesterday. The idea of asking receivers to compare their new quarterback, who isn't one of the all-time greats, with their former quarterback, who is one of the all-time greats, is inherently unfair to everyone. It really is apples and oranges, whether it's Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers, whether it's Tua Tagovailoa and Patrick Mahomes. And what Tyreek Hill said is, obviously arm strength goes to Patrick Mahomes, but he actually said that Tua is more accurate. Now, plenty of people reacted to that, Chris, by saying, yeah, if you're only throwing 3-yard passes, it's easy to be highly accurate. But I see no benefit here to anyone, because all this does is put even more pressure on Tua to have a great year and take full advantage of Tyreek Hill and be extremely accurate. Put the ball in the breadbasket, right in between the numbers for Tyreek Hill all the time. And if you don't, you're not cashing the check that Tyreek Hill has written with your name on it.
No, you're exactly right about that. I think, again, I'm with you in the fact that you're putting too much pressure on Tua by continuing to go down this conversation. That to me is the biggest thing. You're putting a spotlight on it even more here as we go into it, to where, again, it's going to be like if Tua has some bad games and doesn't, have a good completion percentage, it's going to get, it's going to become a social media thing that people are going to have fun with. It's just going to add more pressure that way. Tua is accurate. There's no doubt. Tyreek Hill's doing his best to stick up for his quarterback, and I respect that. Tua is accurate. That's what Tua talks about the most, is ball placement. That's what I always hear. He's very into that in practice and everything there. Well, he's got to be good at that. His arm's not going to get much stronger. He's not going to all of a sudden throw 100-mile-per-hour fastballs. So that's got to be, his bread and butter. And, Mahomes statistically threw a lot of short passes last year, Mike, and had a lot of, yards after catch added to his stats. But there's a difference there. I mean, Mahomes' short passes are because we're looking for a bomb here, we're looking for a bomb here, and we're looking for a bomb here, and everybody's 70 yards deep, so now you have to throw it underneath. With Tua, it's, wait, we got 74 guys going 3 yards down the field, and we just hope you can hit one of those and do that, and there's a big difference there. So I'm not ready to join Tyreek Hill in the Tua's more accurate than Patrick Mahomes conversation quite yet.
And play this out. You're right. They start playing the games. If Tua isn't spectacular, there are no excuses for Tua this year. Teron Armstead is there to beef up the offensive line. They've added Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert. They've got Tyreek Hill to go along with Jalen Waddle. They still have Mike Gesicki. The offense is great, and if it struggles, it's on Tua. And what's Tyreek going to say if he's not?
He's going to get made fun of.
He's setting a bar for himself.
Exactly.
And if he doesn't have a Cooper Kupp type year in Miami, where he's the guy now, it was funny yesterday. We talked about it coming out of this video. Drew Rosenhaus at one point was basically drilling down to the nub of the problem in Kansas City. In Kansas City, Mahomes is the guy, not Tyreek Hill. In Miami, Tyreek's going to be the guy. And as Drew was saying that, Tyreek interjected and said, no. Well, wait a minute. I think Drew knows his clients pretty well. Drew knows what they want. He's had the conversations, talks to them all the time. I think that's really the key. Now, Tyreek's the guy. And if he's not getting it done, it can't be Tyreek's fault. It can't be Tyreek's lost a step. It can't be the ball's going off of Tyreek's hands. It's got to be somebody else's fault. That's just human nature that's going to unfold before our very eyes if this doesn't work. It's just... This is why coaches don't want guys to go have their own podcasts during the offseason, because they talk and they talk and they talk, and they end up talking themselves into a corner that is very difficult to get out of when the season begins.
No question. And the Miami Dolphins, I think maybe have more pressure on them than any other team in football. It's up there. It is. When you really lay it out on the line, wait, team was good, going in the right direction. Wait, you fired the coach? What? Whoa, the team, the roster is phenomenal. Whoa, there's a lot of pressure on McDaniel, first year. Whoa, bam, hey, whoa, you look like you have one of the best teams in football. You better play good. Oh, Tua, yeah, we have invested top 5 pick. Oh, we're going to make it all work and do all that. Man, there's pressure on everybody in that organization throughout. There really is. There's going to be a microscope on them about a number of the off-season storylines and things that are kind of being set up by them themselves. And that's where I think it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
And the most pressure of all is on Tua. It's on Tua.
100%.
And if he doesn't get it done next year, it's going to be two of the other quarterbacks we've talked about a little bit or a lot today, Lamar Jackson or Tom Brady. It's going to be the top destination. If you're a veteran quarterback right now thinking this may be my last year with my current team, where do I want to go in 2023? Miami.
No doubt.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.